What is going on, everyone? Tim from Tierfon Orbital. So today is going to be a relatively in-depth walkthrough on a commission install that I completed last week for a custom one-off Scrapflex variant from Nevin over at Space Junk Sabers. This hilt, along with the one I did previously last week, they are both going to the Saber Museum. So they will have an esteemed spot in David's, from Saber Museum, his collection. So this is not the first time that I've worked with the Saber Museum before, but as always, it's an honor to be chosen to be a part of that collection. It's a very extensive collection, but I always am grateful for when I get a chance to be a part of that. So we're going to talk about the hilt a little bit. I do want to talk about the chassis first because I did do some customizations on this particular build, and I want to talk about that. And then we will obviously do a demo, and we'll be on our way, right? So without further ado, let's talk about the chassis, right? Let's come into Fusion. So this is the chassis that I did for this build. Pretty straightforward, right? We've got a static chassis. Proffie board sits here. It does slide up underneath this lip. There's plenty of room to get at the USB and SD card if need be. This section here is for an on-board OLED. So an OLED screen does slide in here and it just kind of lives in there. Around back, here is obviously our battery tray. This is a 28mm speaker from Smuggler's Outpost. Of course, I've got an incredible amount of unnecessary greeblies on each side. Around back, where the kill switch is, I have two LEDs, a green and a red square LED that I embedded into the chassis. Both of those are their own blade in the config, and they blink. I've actually just set them up to blink, reminiscent of the red and green arrows on Luke's hilt. Okay, and that's it. Nice and easy. Again, it is a static chassis, so it is secured in place with a set screw. This upper section here, this is where that marries into the top part of the hilt, right? And that's it. Nice and easy. So let's come up top and talk about this hilt, right? So here it is. You know, at this point, I'm no stranger to hilts from Space Junk Sabers. Of the two that were sent to me for install, this one is my favorite. I really love the look of this Scrapflex. I love the feel of it. I feel like it's a perfect size. Just a really rad looking hilt. I am not going to try to source these parts, right? I mean, just some of this stuff is familiar. Obviously, we've got a Grapflex top. There is a Grapflex switch assembly, mount assembly here that's been heat stained. I'm not sure where this grip came from. We've got some steel plating here that's also been heat stained. D-ring. Really nice build, right? So let's talk about how to use this guy, okay? So to get at your chassis, you want to unscrew the grip. Here is that chassis. So I did a pass of rub and buff on this and then went back with some red paint just to bring out the detail in some of the greeblies here, right? And that's pretty much it. Nice and easy. So the way that this chassis secures to the upper part of the hilt is with a set screw. That set screw is underneath this clamp card. So if you want to tighten your chassis, if you're finding that it's become a little bit loose, if I could get the right size, you can tighten that set screw, right? And that's it. So there was a set screw around back here as well, but this was a little too high for the chassis itself. I needed room for the switches and everything, so I did add another one underneath that clamp card. Okay, we've got two Momentary switches in copper. These are from Phil at Kalymian Customs. Some really nice greebly work up top. There is a knurled thumb screw here. This does serve as your blade retention. Really love that. And that's it, right? So let's talk about how to use this guy. Spring side, as we always say. is your negative. So take the flat part of your battery, negative side towards the speaker on this particular build. Rest your battery in the tray, hit your kill switch. So there's that red and green blinking LED by the kill switch. Here is our Proffie. Here's our OLED, okay? So I've gone ahead and put different animations for each font, okay?
I'm never touching that thing again.
So each one's got something a little different, okay? Just to keep it different, right? And that's it, okay? So once you've got your battery in, you want to slide your grip on. Until it stops and you're ready to go. Nevin did ship this with a custom blade plug as well. Really, really love that blade plug. Let's leave that out because we're about to put a blade in it. Okay, let's come down. See what else we got on here.
Now this is pod racing.
So if you're looking at the hilt with, I guess we'll do it with the control box away from you. The switch on your right is your aux.
That lightsaber was Luke's.
Switch on your left is your main. Another thing I like about this is we do get some shine through in this glass eye here as well. Really, really cool build. And this is, yeah, feels great. So let's put a blade in it really quick. So as I mentioned, there is a very handy knurled brass thumb screw around back here. That is going to serve as your blade retention. So you get your blade and rest it on those pins, tighten your thumb screw, and you're ready to go. Yeah, I just really love the way this one feels. Really well balanced. See what else we got. So the majority of the fonts on here have been set up with color wheel. So to get at your color wheel, you want to hold down aux and tap main. When you found a color you like, you hit main again, and it'll lock that color in. This particular blade style is a little bit different in that it's got rotating colors in it. Yeah.
I'm never touching that thing again.
Great hilt. Really, really great feeling hilt as well. So it's been a little while.
Enter volume menu.
It's okay. So yeah, that's it. It's been a little while since I put an OLED on a chassis. Luckily for me, in this particular hilt, there was plenty of room inside the grip on the internal diameter, so there was plenty of room for me to play around with. Chassis design, and of course, we've got onboard LEDs. So, I mean, would it be a Tim chassis if those weren't on there, right? Would it? So anyhow, thank you everybody for watching. To the Saber Museum, thank you very much for your business and trusting me with a couple of your installs. It is an honor to be a part of the Saber Museum collection. To the viewers, everybody, thank you very much for your support. If anyone has any questions regarding this hilt or any of my chassis design process, please do not be a stranger. And with that being said, may the force be with you always. Thanks for watching, everybody.